Boom, 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 boom. That's how I mic check, by the way. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Appreciate Greatness. Yeah, every time I mic check, fun fact, I'm West Side Gun. Boom, 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 boom. Anyway, we are talking about the conference championship games that I didn't get to talk about last time because the brackets weren't set. Most of them are Power 5 or major conferences. Even if they're not Power 5, it's the A10, it's the American, it's the Mountain West, We are going to knock out the first, there's several still small conference games left, or championship tournaments, whatever, left. So we'll knock those out. Then we'll get on to the top of the top, going through, I guess, my predictions and just talking about some teams. We'll start with the Big West, though. And my pick here is Hawaii. The no-help D is so fun, but they really force teams to struggle offensively. UC Irvine is on top of the conference. Those two split the series. I want to see the rematch. I have Hawaii in that. We're going to move on. The Maction. Akron versus Miami, Ohio. Going over Akron first, their offense is unreal. Tavari Johnson is unreal. He's so cool. I think he averages 20+. Akron itself is 12th in 2-point percentage, 9th in 3-point percentage. And then you go to Miami, and their offense is even more unreal. And they have more guys who can do it to you. It feels like every game there's someone who is hitting 5 threes, right? And then Peter Suter, he's awesome. He finds a way to beat you in every game. I want them to win badly. I think Akron's the better team. Give me Miami, man. Give me Miami. Next, Conference USA. I think Liberty is going to win it. I want them to win it because I want to see Zach Cleveland hooping in the NCAA tournament. I mean, he is such a fun player. He's averaging like 11, 7, and 7 this year. But Brett Decker Jr., I believe, is their best scorer. He's insanely efficient. I think he shoots 48% from 3. Colin Porter, super experienced point guards, been to the NCAA tournament before, been on this level of competition in these big games before. However, they're 2-3 in their last 5. That really concerns me, like a considerable amount, especially with Sam Houston. They shoot the crap out of the ball. They don't have the roster power Liberty does, but I do think they're a really good team. And then my dark horse, which I'm trying to do a dark horse for every conference, because if you watch my first video, you would see I mentioned Northern Iowa. They end up winning the conference. But a lot of the picks I had, they didn't win. So I want to add a dark horse of a team who I think could, kind of change up the bracket, I guess. And for this one, for the Conference USA, it's Kennesaw State. They play so fast. They're a good defensive team, grab a lot of offensive rebounds, and that can make up for the offensive struggles they go through at times. Is just how hard they crash the glass. And, if they can really muck up a game, and sometimes in these conference tournaments, that's what it's about. That's what it takes. Next is the Ivy League. Yale, man. I love Yale. The offense is awesome. The shooting is unreal. Nick Townsend is great. He's a do-it-all forward. And then Cornell is actually a better shooting team than Yale. They're going to play. It's actually just 4 teams. You'll see the bracket. I'll do the same exact thing I did last video. But it's going to be Yale-Cornell first game. And I am going to be tuned in. I think it's at 11 a.m. on next Saturday. I'm so excited for that game. But yeah, Yale, I think whoever wins that Yale-Cornell game wins the conference. To the WAC, I didn't watch the WAC much this season. It's kind of a conference in my eyes. But Utah Valley, I did my due diligence, I will say that. Utah Valley's my pick. They're really good defensively. Cal Baptist, from what I saw, super, super reliant on Dominique Daniels. And Utah Valley just has guys who do it all over the court. I mean, they just do it all guys, So they're my pick. Should we go to the American now? Yeah, let's keep going. American, South Florida is so unbelievable. They're so athletic. They're I just kicked a can. They're literally, actually, they're the team who, when they make the NCAA tournament, they just have the athletes to compete with a high major program. And I think they're immediately in the conference semifinals. Their one concern for me is 3-point shooting. Other than that, I mean, they have 11-plus point per game scorers. Moving to Tulsa, they had an insanely hot start to the year. They're a great shooting team. I think they'll play USF in the conference chip. I don't think they'll win it. But if they can, they might be a bid stealer. I actually don't know if Bracketology has them in there. I might check that real quick. Yeah, so no Tulsa. So they could be a bid stealer because I think South Florida is in no matter what at this point. Wichita State, they're a great offensive rebounding team. They have Will Berg, who was the redhead from Purdue, if you remember, the 7'2" guy that everyone was worried was going to be the next Zach Edey. Not quite yet. He might, though. He might get there at Wichita State. I really just worry about their offense in general. Like, they cannot shoot. They can't make shots anywhere on the court, but they might be like a top 3 or 4 offensive rebounding team in the country. Let me look real quick. They are number 4 in the country in offensive rebounding, and South Florida is number 8. So, I mean, just off of that, like, you know, they miss a lot, but they do get their misses, but I just worry about it quite a bit. The A-10, St. Louis, they're the big dogs. They have the best roster. I trust Josh Schertz to get things going. They're genuinely one of the best teams in the country just from a roster talent standpoint. They have so many guys who can really get it done. They can shoot the crap out of the ball, and sometimes they are susceptible to losing pretty big, though. I mean, we've seen it past 2 games. They got beat by George Mason by 30. Now, it wasn't really a true 30-piece. I was watching that game. They took Robbie Avila out with, I think it was like 12, 13 minutes left in the game. Like, they just kind of gave up, which is smart. You know, rest, Avila, coffee. Summer Moon, man. I think it's Oklahoma Regional. Whew, it's fire. But yeah, I like St. Louis quite a bit. VCU, they got Terrence Hill Jr., they got Laser Djokovic, who I saw in the first game. I think I made a tweet about him after literally the first game of the year. I was like, this guy is kind of sick. But overall, VCU is just really, really good. I think they should be in the tournament if they can just win in round 1. I don't remember who I think they're going to play, but if they can just win in round 1, I think they should be in the tournament. And then my dark horse for the A-10 is George Washington, man. I'm a George Washington truther. They're playing a Fordham team, a Fordham team who is the 8 seed, but I think they're closer to like the 12th best team in a 14-team conference. And I had George Washington finishing second coming into the year. I still think they have the roster. They have the analytics for sure. And I think if they can beat Fordham, play a sputtering St. Louis team, have a chance to beat them, and make a run. I really believe they have a chance to make a run. And then the last mid-major team or mid-major conference to talk about is the Mountain West. Utah State is just an offensive powerhouse. They have a bunch of different guys who can get it done day in, day out. Any night or any given night, it could be a different guy. And they have some great playmakers. They can shoot the ball as well. San Diego State, I still believe this is the best roster in the Mountain West. And their defense is so awesome, especially if Magoon Gwath is playing considerable minutes. And now I think he's averaging like 17 minutes a game this year, which sucks for them. But if he can up those minutes, if he can even play like 25 minutes a game, 30 minutes a game for the next 3, I think they have to play in the conference tournament, they can make a real run. They could go win it. And, of course, you have Miles Byrd as well, who's a sick defender. New Mexico, they just fight in every single game. I think they only got blown out once. They're hard to put away. They have fun, lights-out shooting freshman, Jake Hall, I believe. And then they have just a great 8-man rotation. Could surprise some people, I think, if they get out of the Mountain West. That they just don't go away easy. They just have that winning culture at New Mexico. GCU, I'm talking about the top 4 teams, and I'll give my dark horse. GCU is one of the best teams in the country, or defensive teams in the country, not teams overall. I think they're the worst. Like, it's hard. It's like, so there's like the power teams, right? And then you have like the St. Louis's. I would put GCU in there. Obviously, they're not on like Gonzaga level, but like VCU, just teams, mid-major teams that are going to be good in year in, year out. GCU is one of those teams. They might be the worst shooting team for one of those like level of teams in the country. Like they cannot shoot the ball. But they do like rebound really well, do all the little things defensively to slow teams down. I don't hate the matchup that they have against Utah State, but the struggle to create offense outside of Jaden Henley is so concerning. And that's really my qualm with them. That's the thing that's holding me back. That was a heck of a stutter right there. So yeah, I mean, I don't know with GCU. And then the dark horse for the Mountain West is Boise State. They're a good team. I know they got beat by Hawaii Pacific, but they're a good team. They beat St. Mary's. They beat Wichita State, who we talked about St. Mary's last video. They hung St. Mary's just beat Gonzaga and then lost to Santa Clara. Shout out to Sash. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name, but Sash, man, he was hooping. They hung with NC State. They hung with USC, and they're hot coming into the tournament. They beat San Diego State. I think they've won 5 straight. If they can get past New Mexico, they're dangerous. They're really dangerous. Now to the Power 5 conference predictions. We're going to start with the ACC. My prediction is Duke, Virginia in the chip. Duke wins. It's obviously the 1 and the 2. Oh no, we'll talk about it. Duke is a wagon. I mean, I don't see a team in the ACC that can compete with them. The guards do worry me a bit, especially if Caleb Foster's out. But even with, the struggle at guard, they're still going to play defense, and they have the best defense in the country. And then you have Cam Boozer, who can play point guard, like genuinely can just play point guard. So it's not too big of a concern in reality. They're the best team in this conference. Next, Louisville. I don't know how to feel about this Louisville team, man. I love Ryan Conwell, love Javon Hadley. The offense is really fun, especially with Mikal Brown, but the defense is just kind of leaves something to be desired. They have a tough path to the championship. They'll have to play Duke when they get there, probably. And so I'm a little out on them right now, especially with, with the way their defense is. Virginia, they're a really fun team. They have different scorers and a lot of guards who can just beat you game in, game out. Like any given night with any guard, they can beat you. Testa Ritter is awesome. Grunlow is great as a rim protector. I have them going and playing Duke in the chip. I believe they have to play Miami or win and then play Miami. So I like the path for Virginia. North Carolina, obviously no Caleb Wilson. It really hurts. Pretty much ends their chances, ends our chances. I'm a big UNC fan. It ends our chances at winning the conference. I do love Seth Trimble more than I love Air. I just don't really see us being able to go beat Clemson again, especially on a neutral court and without Luka Bogovac. Probably not going to make 7 threes, 6 threes in this game, And then Clemson, they're just... And one thing that this North Carolina team specifically should do, especially with Seth Trimble as kind of your guy, even though Henry Vesar is your guy, but Seth Trimble is kind of your guy to get you into stuff, like... If that makes sense. Obviously, Derek Dixon plays the 1, but I think this team goes as far as Seth Trimble plays well, if that makes sense. And he's just so good in transition. And you're playing Clemson, and they're defensive-minded. They slow the game down. They're going to play a close game against UNC. They're going to play a close game. And then I think they're going to get smoked by Duke if they beat North Carolina. But I think either one of these teams is going to get smoked by Duke if they play North Carolina. Or if they win North Carolina and Clemson. I think they both get smoked by Duke. Miami. Now, this was the team, if they can beat Virginia, I think they have the best case at beating Duke. They're super old. Malik Reneau, oh my gosh. Trey Donaldson, goodness gracious. They're super old, super experienced. They're really, really efficient. Defense is a concern at times, but when the offense is going, they also have freshman Shelton Henderson. When the offense is moving, man, they are scary. And I do think they can take down Virginia. And if they do, I really do think they have the best shot at Duke. My dark horse, Stanford. I really like their path. I think they would play who? Hold on. So Stanford would play Pitt, NC State, Virginia, Miami, Duke, probably. Or Virginia, yeah, Louisville, whoever. But I like that path, man. Especially with Ibuka Corey. He's so good. Moving on to the Big Ten. My prediction is Purdue, Michigan in the chip. Michigan winning. Michigan's kind of the same as Duke. They're just so dominant, so good. The big three in the front court and Morez Johnson, Ade Mara, and Yaxel Lindenberg. It's so nasty. The guard play and turnovers are still a worry. It's still a worry. Elliot Cadeau at times just kind of loses his head. I love Elliot Cadeau. I think he's a great player. But there's just times where he's these lapses and these turnovers that you're like, what are you doing? But then there's other times where he's making passes and you're like, golly, this dude is great. But those lapses can definitely hurt you. They can come back to bite. Nebraska is the 2 seed. They're a great defensive team, believe it or not, even though they don't feel like it. When you watch them, they do not feel like a great defensive team. They limit free throws. They make threes at a high rate. But they've struggled against the faster teams, the bigger teams, the teams that like to push the pace. That's where they've really struggled. They beat like a super slow team, Michigan State. But those teams that can run and get out and make plays on the fly and don't really set up, those are the teams they struggle against. Illinois, if they up Kylan Boswell's minutes going into this tournament, which I don't know if they do, to be honest. I don't think I would. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I don't think a loss hurts their seeding too bad, if at all. I really don't think it would at all. But if they do, I really like this team. Especially Keaton Walker. He showed his on-ball stuff. He showed how he can play with the ball in his hands. But I love him a lot more off-ball. And when he has that experience of being on-ball, it helps him that much more for when he catches hard closeout. Now he's going to make plays. Like plays. But I just like Boswell so much more at the helm. And they have the top-ranked offense in the nation. They're the most efficient. They're so smart. Jake Davis, a great cutter. All the Europeans are just super smart, and it's so fun to watch. Michigan State, they play great defense. They slow games down, but they're just not good enough to beat the top of the top, in my opinion. But I think they're good enough to dominate everyone else. I think they can even beat a Nebraska. But the top of the top, the Michigan, the Purdue, the Illinois, I don't think they can beat those three. I do think, though, that they can play to the same pace and play with Purdue. But I think it's going to be a great game in the second round. I think they're going to lose. If they could shoot, that would move the needle for me a lot. If they could just shoot the ball, Purdue I think is a much better team than they showed throughout the season. No doubt, and I expect them to start showing it in this tournament. If they don't, I'm out on them come NCAA tournament time, obviously. But if they do, and Braden Smith, I trust. I guess that's what I'm going with. And Fletcher Lawyer, I trust. They can shoot the ball really, really high rate. Somehow I have dog hair on my microphone. But that's kind of the thing. Dark horse, I want to say Ohio State so bad with Bruce Thornton. They've played really well down the stretch, and the biggest thing is I don't like the matchup with Michigan in game 2. Also, another feature from my dog. Shout out, bro. I don't like the Michigan matchup. UCLA has grown on me. I hate Mick Cronin. I hate him, but I love Donovan Dent. I'm a Donovan Dent truther. UCLA will be my dark horse. That's what I'm going to go with. The Big 12. I want Arizona-Kansas, Arizona-Houston rematch so bad. I want to watch it. It'd be so fun. Arizona's an insanely good team. Their offense, they're awesome everywhere, especially defensively. Offensively, they're good, but defensively, they allow a 43% field goal percentage on twos, 31.9% on threes. And Braden Burries, Jaden Bradley's one of the best defenders in the Big 12 and one Big 12 Player of the Year somehow. It was kind of weird. Even though he is probably the most important player on that team, it's still a weird pick. But you also have Toby Awaka, Delorso, Krivas, Pete, Aristode. There's one guy, Karchinchov. So, Karchinkov, one of the two. I still don't know how to pronounce his name. But they're awesome. They're really good. Houston, the turnover differential is unreal. It's the best in the country. But they've struggled at times to just get good looks offensively. Even when they don't turn the ball over, they just struggle to get those good looks. That's a a factor of losing Jawan Roberts, losing that post-up aspect. JoJo Tugler hasn't taken that step quite yet, and they just don't have a really great way to generate good looks, especially with Kingston struggling at times this year to get downhill. Milos Uzan has struggled at the same thing. There are just those times where the Houston offense struggles so much. Emmanuel Sharp hasn't shot the ball to the level that we know he's capable of. They're still a super, super dangerous team. I think they're going to play. Kansas or Arizona super tight, and they're always a threat to be in the conference championship game. But it's just the offense concerns me for sure at times. Kansas with the Darren Peterson's been in and out, man. But lately he's been in, and I like that Kansas with Darren Peterson in and out. They've relied on the defensive end. They played really well defensively. I really like the offense when Darren Peterson plays, even though they lost some bad games like the Arizona State game. I just want to see them play 2 games. I want to see them win round 1 and play Houston. I just want to see that. I want to see their offense playing Houston. And that's going to prove a lot to me. And I think they can win. I really do. I think Darren Peterson at any given moment can get hot. I really like Melvin Council. I really like Flory Badunga. I think Flory could really dominate against Houston. But they need to figure it out quick because – man, it's one game it's great, the next it's not. So they need to figure it out. Texas Tech, no JT Toppin really sucks, but they've still been great because of Christian Anderson. He's that guy, man. He's shooting like 48-42 splits, 19, almost 20 a game, like 8 assists. He's that guy. But Donovan Atwell has been great. Lawan Watts has been great. I think they'll lose to Iowa State. I really love Iowa State. But this team really isn't that much worse without JT Toppin, and that's no diss to JT Toppin. It's just how well Grant McCaslin is, first of all. He is sick. He's literally should probably be in top 3 coach conversations in the country. I don't know how he doesn't get that consideration more. But also Christian Anderson is really, 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 really good. Next, Iowa State. When the offense is clicking, man, they are scary. The defensive identity, they have the best shooter in the country. They have a great big man, Joshua Jefferson. They got a great point guard in Tameen Lipsey. Like, this is a team that should be just great. But they struggle at times, and the offense just sputters so much. And it's almost like they rely on the Milan Momcilovic hot streaks or the Milan Momcilovic made shots so much that when, we've seen him not make shots at times and they've tended to struggle. Cincinnati is my dark horse, which it's just so obvious. I'll pick a different one as well. They've been great defensively this year, like the whole year. And then this past month, they've been like top 5 analytically, I believe. They struggle to score at times, but the offense has been clicking. It's been clicking, and I think that's what makes them so good analytically. We'll see what happens. I think they could very easily lose round 1. My other dark horse is TCU. That's sure. The Big East, we're going to start with UConn. The inconsistency scares me. Like the Marquette loss, the Creighton loss, that really concerns me, especially when you're coached by Danny Hurley. You're still like a really good team across the board, and they're not a one-man show. So it's not like that one guy struggling and now we lose. Oh no, we lost two games. We're 27 before because in those 4 games our best player was struggling. They have a lot of pieces like Solo Ball, Silas Demery, Braylon Mullins, Alex Caravan. The defense obviously anchored by Terrace Reed, who's sick. He's so good. They're still my pick to win the conference. They're still, to me, one of the top teams in the country. Probably going to be Elite 8. I don't know about Final 4. But Elite 8 bound. But the struggles and inconsistency at times, it's scary. It really is. It's scary. St. John's, I don't know how Rick Pitino did it, man. I don't know how he pulled off the early season championship with this squad. They have a lot of talent. I don't want that to be misconstrued or that to be like a misconception. They have a lot of talent, but it doesn't fit like at all. And so for them to just pull together, somehow find a way to win this conference in the regular season is unbelievable. They can't shoot. They do have the number 13 ranked defense, so that's a big part of it. But their offense is just bad. Their offense is bad. They do force a lot of turnovers. Good offensive rebounding team. Shout out Zuby. Zuby's great. He's a monster, dude. And he leads their team, I think, in points, assists, rebounds, and blocks. So Zuby's a dog. The dark horse is Seton Hall. It's not really a dark horse. I think they're literally just a 4 seed. I didn't talk about Villanova, did I? Villanova, they're just super solid over the course of the season. They haven't beat the big bad teams. They haven't beat the UConn. They haven't beat the St. John's. They lost to someone barely early in the regular season in non-con. I have to go find it. It's going to bother me. It was BYU, first game of the year. They barely lost to BYU first game of the year. That's what it was. And then, you look through here, lost to Michigan by a lot, but so did everyone in non-conference play, man. They were insane. Lost to Creighton by 4, lost to St. John's by 7, lost to UConn in overtime, lost to UConn by 10, lost to St. John's by a billion. And those are their losses. This is a good team. They're fun to watch. I love Caden Lewis. I love Duke Brennan. They have 6 9+ point per game scorers, so they're really fun to watch. They're a good team. I think they're getting slept on a bit. I think they're the 7 seed right now in bracketology, so they're a good team. The dark horse again, Seton Hall. Not really a dark horse because they're a 4 seed, but whatever. They play defense, man. Shaheem Holloway is sick. He's so awesome. And I think they can. I really think they can get by St. Louis. I think that's a perfect matchup for them. Go play UConn, see what happens. Got to win round 1 first, obviously. I think they're playing Creighton. Win that. Go play St. John's. Win that. Move on. Do I have the Big East? Let's get the Big East tournament up here. I want to see. I think it's Creighton. Here we go. It's going to be. This is the worst. Here we go. Yeah, it's going to be Creighton, Seton Hall. If Seton Hall wins, St. John's probably. And then if they win that, it's championship. And then you go play to try and bid steal. I mean, that's what you're doing there. Moving on to the SEC, last one here. 30-minute video. Goodness gracious, didn't expect that at all. Florida, they're insane, dude. The guards are putting it together. They literally seem impossible to beat. Ruben Chinyelu, Alex Condon, Thomas Hawk. And then, even the bench is really, really solid. So it's like, goodness gracious, they're so good. Alabama, they still play with that pace. I don't like them. I don't like them. They don't force turnovers, so they kind of just play with generated pace, like forced pace. The defense scares me a lot. It's been bad. LeBaron Philon is that guy, but they scare me. Arkansas is Darius Acuff, man, and Malik Thomas. They're different. Acuff is the leader of the team. The thing that sticks out to me about Arkansas is, I wish I wrote this down so bad. I can just go find it. They don't turn the ball over, I don't think. When I watch them, that's one thing that sticks out to me. Acuff, I think, averages 2, maybe less than 2 turnovers a game. Yeah, they're first in turnover rate. That's unreal. Offensive turnover rate. They're first in the country. They just don't turn the ball over. I love that so much. The offense is so good. The defense worries me a little bit, but I think they're going to get to the conference chip. I must say it. I didn't even give my prediction. I think UConn wins the Big East. I really, if there's one dark horse that I would put money on, Seton Hall, man. I said the Big 12. The SEC, I'm going Florida, Arkansas, probably. Vandy, I love Tyler Tanner so much. He runs the team with Duke Miles. They're solid on both ends. I want the rematch of Vandy, Tennessee on a neutral floor. That'd be fun. Tennessee, they don't have Nate Ament, which hurts them because even though he's really inefficient, he's not actually that great of a creator. I'm not very impressed by his creation. They do lose just having that, if that makes sense. Just losing those shots and those spurts at times, that hurts them. They're first in offensive rebounding in the country. And any given game could be a Jacoby Gillespie game, so that's the big thing for them. My dark horse for the SEC is Texas and OU. I like how OU's played to close out the year. I just don't love the Arkansas matchup. And I do think first matchup was played pretty close. Let me speed run to get to this. Oklahoma. And then schedule. Arkansas. They 83-79. And that was a part of their 11-4. That was a part of their 8-game losing streak. Goodness gracious, I didn't even realize. But since then, they are 6-2 to close out the year since that streak. So it's like, and obviously, I mean, they haven't played as tough of teams. They played Vanderbilt. That was the only ranked team they played. Lost to A&M, lost to Tennessee by 23. But I do like this team quite a bit. And I think they're just one. I think they can really just, like, they got to beat A&M, beat South Carolina. I don't have a worry about that. If they can beat A&M and just try and beat Arkansas again, they only lost to them by 4. I really like that for them. And then Texas, and if they do that, they have a chance at making the national tournament because it's a weird bubble. I think it's like the weakest bubble we've ever had also. Texas is a team who I think the matchups are better. I think they're better than the record shows. Their path is a lot better. They're playing Ole Miss, then they have to beat Georgia, then they have to beat Bama, then they're in the semis. So I like that a lot more than the OU path. But that is all that I have to talk about. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. It's a long video. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I'm going to, I'll do my March Madness video like I do, my bracket video like I do every year. Last year wasn't great. The year before that, I don't even remember if I did one. The year before that, though, I had like a top 50 or 100 bracket in the world because I'm that guy. But, yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch y'all. Peace.